Good afternoon. My name is Anna Lambert-Blinn, and this is my outline for my persuasive speech. Football and other sports have drastically changed since their beginning. In the 1904 college football season, there was a total of 18 deaths and 159 serious injuries. This number would increase over the next season, leading to the United States government to step in and to form the precursor to the NCAA. Today, the NCAA has drastically changed, evolving and growing and even creating the NIL and the transfer portal. Now, if you're familiar with college sports, you should keep yourself updated on the creation of the NIL and the transfer portal because it could drastically change how your sport is played. Now, as someone who has grown up in a very Southern family, football has always been extremely important, as well as just sports in general. So I've grown up listening to my parents talk about sports and the politics that goes along with them, especially as it pertains to the NCAA. So I felt like I had a strong basis for this project. Now, the introduction of the NIL and the transfer portal has drastically changed college sports, and in my opinion, it's for the worse. Today we are going to discuss the lack of loyalty by college athletes, recruitment difficulties as times change, and medical discrepancies among transferring athletes. Now, because of the NIL and the transfer portal, there has been a lack of loyalty created among athletes. Inside the locker room, it's difficult to create a sense of community and cohesion. In fact, there has been issues with jealousy and resentment among teammates because of earning disparity. Now, in high school, the reason why most people play sports is for fun and for community. In fact, NFHS states that it's not on the self, but on the team. However, as we shift into college sports and into the introduction of the NIL, there's no longer incentive to play for a team because you love that team. Instead, there's an incentive to play for a team because of what they can offer you, which totally changes the sport of football and really any other sport in general. There's also a problem with the transfer portal because it creates an ability of free agents. Now, because of the transfer portal, college athletes has been allowed to opt out of seasons and games. This is a big problem because whenever you commit to a team, you are making that a commitment. You're saying that you're going to join that team, and through hardship and through good, you are going to show up to practice and you're going to play games. In high school, there is no missing games unless you're sick or injured. And if you just didn't show up, you would be cut off the team. So why do we let people in college rest? Well, the whole purpose of opting out is to protect yourself from injuries and to prepare to play professionally. An instance that we have seen opting out has been in Nico Iamaleava. He was a Tennessee quarterback who is making $2.4 million off of an NIL deal. However, he wanted more, so he bargained with Tennessee for $4 million. When his request was denied, right before the spring game, he stopped showing up to practice and even left Tennessee, putting strain on the team. This lack of loyalty is dangerous for sports because how can a team go on when it's constantly shifting and where you don't feel connected to your teammates and to your staff? Now, although the NIL and transfer portal has created a lot of issues for loyalty, how about we talk about the issue of the coaches? The NIL has created an environment where people are looking to forward themselves, where they're looking to create the most money and the most opportunities for themselves, which we talked about in the first part. However, one of the biggest problems has been in smaller schools. If your school has a smaller sports program than another school, then you're not going to have as much funding to make lucrative NIL deals. This could be a problem because they could end up not getting players that they need, shrinking their program even further. This has also put unnecessary pressure on athletes. Since a lot of athletes don't go pro, they instead will get jobs with the help of people from their university who are physically there to support them into their transition season. However, if you're transferring from one school to another, you're meeting an entire new staff, including new counselors, who may not have the same connections that are available to you as you had at your old school. There's also the problem of credits. Credits are very important because each school has different credit requirements for your specific major. And the NCAA requires that 40% of your coursework is completed by the end of your second year. You could be in violation of this if you transfer to a new school at the end of your second year and it turns out that school does not take the credits that you took at your first school. Now, not only does the NIL and the transfer portal affect athletes and coaches, but it also affects the paramedics that treat them. So an EMR is a system that has been created to help college athletes, well, not college athletes, to help athletes in general share their medical information very quickly, including scans, reports, blood work, anything like that, physical therapy reports. And the NFL has their own standardized EMR, making it very easy to transfer information about athletes to their physicians. However, despite the transfer portal creating an environment where it's very common to transfer from school to school, there is no standardized EMR for college students, meaning that your information could get sent a lot later than need be, meaning that you could already be injured and your physician not know what you need. There's also the problem of coverage. Let's say that an athlete gets injured and has a surgery at one school, but he transfers to another and he still needs scans and physical therapy. Who's to cover that, the first or the second school? As of right now, the NCAA does not have a standardized way of determining these kind of things. So it goes by case-to-case basis, which could lead to unfair treatment on the athletes and on the schools. Now, the introduction of the NIL and the transfer portal has drastically changed college sports for the worse. And today we talked about the lack of loyalty created by college students. We talked about the unnecessary stress for athletes and coaches, and we talked about medical discrepancies. So next time you're seeing an ad on TV from one of your favorite athletes advertising one of your favorite products, and you don't think anything about it, maybe you should think closer, because how is that affecting your favorite sport?